Hi everybody. My smile is stuck on my face. Ah ha ha ha. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, thanks guys for stopping in. I appreciate it. I want to say thanks to all my new YouTube buddies, YouTube booktube buddies and friends. I was doing a little voguing. Well, not voguing, but a little J setting there. Thank you guys. Fiction Fairy, Amanda, right? Alicia, Denise, Lena, Denise, my homegirl, Denise. I was gonna do all that stuff like that. Denise, nah, we're not gonna be doing no shit like that. Denise, just a whole list of people that I've come in contact with. I appreciate you guys so much. It's great to talk about books with people who like to read. Anyway, this is a February wrap up. February went by pretty quickly, not like January, and I had a great time in February. Psych, not for real. It was just another month almost, except for my birthday, but I did read some good books within those 3-4 weeks, and one really big dud of a book. So we're gonna go ahead and start here. The first book I managed to read in the month of February was Lydias Control. Something. Control. Cause I don't know the words. My favorite Janet Jackson song is the Pleasure Principle anyway. So if you have a book called The Pleasure Principle, then I will be getting down, baby. I will have this whole room tucked down, baby. Let me tell you. Anyway, let me shut up. Control. If everybody knows about this book at this point, it's a YA book. It's about a young girl, 17-year-old girl named Lydia, who is in the 2150 year in which she is like doing video reviews. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make it a point in saying that I wrote more about it in the blog. Like I said, I like to get my thoughts out on paper, not so much on video, but I did write about this, so I'm gonna put a link, and if you're not lazy, you can click on that link and read everything that I thought of in which I had problems with in this book, and everything that I had loved about this book. But I will say the number one thing that I did not too much care for in this book, well, two things, is one is the world building sucks. Sorry, that's just, I'm being frank there. That's not me being too critical. The fact of the matter is, if it takes place in 2150, I need as many details, scientifically speaking, as possible concerning what made 2150 so different from 2014 or 13 when this book came out. I need those details. I'm sorry. You just gotta hand them to me, baby. Another thing I didn't too much care for this book is, as part of the plot of the book, considering Lydia trying to find her sister, Delia, shit, I forgot, it's somewhere in here. I did not feel like that whole, you know, in a book, a character has to want something, right? That's why they keep the reader moving through the pages. But her, she didn't so much. I didn't feel like anything was at stake in this book. I didn't understand what it wasn't hitting me about why Lydia so desperately needed to retrieve her sister from this other camp of freaks. They weren't really freaks, but they were genetically modified by people or some sort. But anyway, like I said, I wrote about more of this in my blog. You can go check that out if you want. I will stick around and read the second book in this series, and the second book will be my deciding factor on whether or not I want to keep going. So the next book I managed to read after that was Year of the Demon. Oh, this is my pillow. It's a phone now. By Steve Bein. I'm trying not to say Steven because I always say Steven. It's not Steven, it's Steve Bein. Yes, this book was great. It was just as good as The Faded Blades. My only one complaint really is that, like I said in another video on The Faded Blades, is that his narrative switches between historical fiction involving two other different characters besides the main protagonist of the story, who is Mariko, and then, like I said, it switches between them, and it switches between Mariko's current position in 2010. The problem I have with that is that I love the historical fiction portions to a just, I can't even say nothing about it. It is that great to me. I love reading about ancient Japan and the politics. But Mariko's portion is a little bit too thin. You know, you're reading this book and you're thinking, well, she gets this heifer gets like 30 pages talking about her case, and then next you get like another character from the past who's getting like over 100 pages talking about his situation, which is good, but she needs some more meat on her part. I'm sorry. So Steve Bein, on your third book, which I cannot wait to get, please have Mariko having more space in which she can speak to her audience. No, do not give her 30 pages and then give the other characters 100 pages of airtime. The next book was 1,000 Lies. You seen this on my unboxing video. It's the untold story about the Jonestown incident by Julia, and we're gonna just leave her name right there. Because Julia called me the other day and she was like, you better get my name right on the next video. So I'm telling you right now, Julia, I'm just going to say Julia. Even though I do know how to say her last name, but I ain't going to butcher it anyway with my country ass tongue. So with that said, this was a very good book. When I first started reading it, I had a hard time getting into it. And it wasn't so much because of the writing. It was because of the context. If everybody is familiar with the Jonestown incident, it's about the Jonestown incident. What it is about these group of people, or religious group. I don't want to use the term cult because, you know, when you read this book you'll realize that these people weren't so much in a cult as they were brainwashed. And well, yes, I had a hard time reading that first because after my first reading session I kind of had a nightmare about the Jonestown incident, but I moved on and finished reading the rest, and it turned out to be an excellent, great read. I suggest everybody go read this. You know, I have to have my nonfiction within all of my fiction. And what I can say is that I learned a lot from this book concerning the Jonestown incidents. A lot of background stuff that, you know, that's not necessarily presented forward. One of the things that I was surprised about was that Jim Jones was actually a practicing, I don't really know about the word practicing, but he's a practicing bisexual. I didn't know that. Jim Jones was sleeping with some men too in his congregation. I was like, what? What are you doing, sir? That's not holy. Besides cheating with your wife and doing drugs and have all these people drinking this poison ass Kool-Aid. And I also didn't know that he actually did a drill of the whole Kool-Aid drinking thing at one point previous to the actual event. But anyway, I learned a lot from that book. Having reading Ju Chang's Moi biography, I found a lot of parallels between Jim Jones' tyrannical leading methods and Mo's at the same time. You know, they both use a lot of deception. They both use a lot of depriving their community or their followers of a lot of different things. But mostly what they did was they pretty much mentally beat people down and had subjugated these people to follow their every stupid desire until they died. It's just crazy.